Can you call for milk? Milk? Because time, it's already time. Did you open a group? Did you do a group?
Yes.
Which group?
I just send message. Don't have in the group.
See the person who sit in the middle is an issue. So you introduce and you say, I'll speak English. If
Yes.
any problem, please let us know.
โอเคค่ะ
Yeah.
เริ่มเลยไหมคะ
Good, not many people. Huh?
อืม
Okay.
โอเคก็สวัสดีเดี๋ยวนะ สวัสดีนักลงทุนทุกท่านนะคะ ทั้งที่อยู่ที่ตลาดหลักทรัพย์แห่งนี้และที่รับชมไลฟ์สดทางบ้านนะคะ ดิฉันอภิญญาตั้งประภาวิทย์ค่ะ ในนามของ TTA นะคะ วันนี้ก็ขอต้อนรับทุกท่านเข้าสู่ การรายงานผลประกอบการไตรมาสที่ 1 ปี 2560 ของ TTA ค่ะ ซึ่งวันนี้นะคะเรามีผู้บริหารมา2ท่านด้วยกันนะคะ ทางด้านซ้ายมือที่นั่งตรงกลางของดิฉันนะคะ ก็คือคุณจิเทนเดอร์พอลเวอร์มาค่ะกรุ๊ป CFO ของเรานะคะ ส่วนอีกท่านหนึ่งค่ะ คุณบุญเพ็ญลิขิตวารินนะคะ Asso Director Business Performance Analysis ค่ะ หัวข้อที่เราจะคุยกันในวันนี้นะคะ เริ่มจากไฮไลท์ของไตรมาสที่ 1 ค่ะ โดยมีคุณจิเทนเดอร์นะคะ หลังจากนั้นก็จะรายงานผลประกอบการตามราย Business ต่างๆนะคะ แล้วก็ปิดท้ายด้วย Market Outlook ค่ะ ซึ่งวันนี้นะคะคุณจิเทนเดอร์ค่ะ เช่นเดิม ก็จะพูดเป็นภาษาอังกฤษนะคะท่านเดียว ก็หากนักลงทุนท่านใดสงสัยก็สามารถสอบถามได้ หลังจากที่เรารายงานจบนะคะ เราจะมีพาร์ท Q&A ค่ะ เพื่อไม่เป็นการเสียเวลานะคะ ขอเรียนเชิญคุณจิเทนเดอร์ค่ะ
Hello. Sawadee-krap. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining our Opportunity Day session. For this quarter, I think one good positive thing for TTA as a group is that we have turned positive and we have declared the first quarter after many quarters as profit, and I'm sure you have seen our notification to the stock exchange on that. And with that, the major of that was the positive numbers from our shipping business are also very good. So with that, I start our first slide. Can you start next? This is the kind of a snapshot where our businesses get impact. The first portion of this slide is the BDI, the Baltic Exchange Dry Index, and as you can see that after the 30-year low of 2016, we can see it has been continuously rising, of course with a little bit of up and down like a tennis ball syndrome. In quarter 1 2017 it went down, however it rose again very sharply towards the second part of quarter one. In April and May, it is slightly bit down again, but this is the nature of the index, that it goes up, goes down, but the trend is still very high, very positive. The level of 1300, if we compare, which was achieved in March, is almost 4 times the lowest level which we saw in February last year. So in 1 year, the BDI index has almost risen 4 times. Similarly, on the crude oil, the situation seems to be improving, though not really very much improved. The level of 50, 60, I would say more like between 40 to 60. It has now stayed at this level for a long time, but this is still better than the very low levels of 29 and 30. However, the oil and gas, as we will see, impacts our energy business, our mermaid business. Even on the mermaid business, we have done certain things where the impact on pure oil and gas we are able to lessen, and that we will see in our mermaid slides. On the what happened? No, the same first slide. Yeah. On the group financial highlights, we will see that the energy still is a predominant sector, although on this first quarter, the EBITDA of the transport side was much better, almost 55%, because of the shipping profits. So as you can see, the EBITDA increased 69% year on year to about 387 million. So that's the highlight on the financials. We show the next slide, which gives a snapshot of our revenues and gross profit. And if you see at the gross profit number, although the revenues were just 5% up year on year, our gross profit was higher, almost 88%, almost doubled up year on year. Slightly bit lower from the previous quarter, predominantly because of certain extraordinary items in last year related to exchange gains and other items. But overall, it's a rising trend. The EBITDA also similarly about 69% year on year. And as we see, the net profit to TTA 87 million baht profit at a gross level, consolidated level for the year, which is a encouraging number, and we hope to repeat this trend on the strength of the rising BDI for the quarters to come. Next. Taking to the business units individually, our first slide is depicting our Thoresen Shipping Group performance in the key factors. If we look the Thoresen TCE rate, which is shown on the first slide, almost the same what we showed on the main slide first time. The rising trend is very good for the shipping industry. The major impact on the quarter one, which we will see, is that on the slide below, where we show the revenue versus cost structure per vessel day, that the revenue now has started to come above the cost level, or what you I think analysts always are looking at the break-even level kind of a number. So we see that it's coming up at $7,000 per day per vessel. That's higher in quarter one for the year. And on the other side, the fleet utilization, which has always been almost close to 100% number, that continues to be so. In quarter one, we have 99.1% utilization. This $7,000 per day revenue includes some margins from our chartering activity, which we continue to do. So our focus on the shipping business and chartering business continues to remain, and we are continuously increasing our fleets going forward. We continue, TSG Shipping Group continue to own about 20 vessels with the purchase of one vessel which was delivered on 16 May. So there are 20 vessels now. So as we are scrapping or selling some of our old vessels, we are also renewing the vessels as and when we look at the opportunity. One can say that we could have bought some vessels earlier, but one never knew what the trend of the market is looking like. So we waited for the right firming of the market before we do more purchases. On the shipping group, the gross profit is a very encouraging number. If you look, the percentages are almost like 1000%, but let's not go with that. The main thing is that we show a gross profit of 193 million baht for this quarter, and EBITDA of 176, and a net profit of about 46 million baht for the first quarter. Predominantly because of the revenues increased, and as the cost structure, I think all of you know, we have been doing a cost structure which is already one of the best amongst the dry bulk players in the region. And therefore, whenever we were waiting for the right revenues to hit, and once the revenues are up, it is adding to the profit of the company. On the Mermaid Group, as we see the revenue breakdown by services, the cable laying activity was much lower in this quarter. However, our revenues on the subsea services, non-vessels and vessels maintained the trend, but on a lower side, because there has been a reduction of the prices at some utility level, also lower for this quarter, which is traditionally it's like that for the quarter one because of the direction of certain winds and all. So if we compare it year on year, it's not a very major drop, though on the utilization slightly bit lesser utilization on that. And on the vessel day rate, we are in fact slightly bit better year on year. The AOD, which is one of our associate entities for which we are taking the equity income method, they contributed stability. Our drills, our drill rigs are fully utilized on the AOD side. We have renewed our contract for next 3 years up to June 2019, and the stability of that income continues to be so. However, other than that, we have completely done away with the drilling activity. So that is to avoid the impact of the oil and gas to a big way. The gross profit for quarter one for Mermaid is up 50% year on year. The net profit is slightly bit lower. Because of the drop in the revenues, the costs have been reduced a lot. However, the gross margin declined quarter on quarter 27%, and depreciation and amortization was slightly increased, resulting in a MML Group reported net profit of 26 million baht. PMTA or PM Thoresen Asia Holdings Limited, our sales volume year on year is almost the same, because quarter one is a low volume for fertilizer business in Vietnam. but it is still we are achieving almost similar level as quarter one. By geography, the domestic and the export remains similar numbers at 15 and 22. The revenue breakdown by market and everything. The single fertilizer volume, although decreased slightly bit, 8% year on year, but the same increase we were able to make by the pesticide side of the business. However, one of our other segments, which is the factory area for leasing or kind of a warehousing activity, it remained high at 100% occupancy levels, in spite of the fact that we had additional space built up during this period. On the revenue side, if we see year on year, there is a slight drop of about 12%, but on the gross profit remains the same. Although the net profit, there is a big drop, predominantly coming from foreign exchange impact, because during this period, Thai baht appreciated very much against the Vietnamese dong. And the PMTA reported net profit of only 2 million baht for TTA. For unique mining services, the sales volume is almost the same as last year, about 63,000 tons. The index for the Newcastle coal index is on a rising trend, but for the quarter it was slightly bit low. And we reported a next slide. We reported a gross profit of about 20 million baht, which is lower by about 1/3, 28% year on year. The net loss is about 16 million baht for the year for the quarter. Next. And the balance sheet continues to show the same financial strength as we have been displaying prior to this. As on March 2017, we have cash and cash equivalents with short term of 9.7 billion baht and a total equity of 25.7 billion baht. Next. This brings us to our last few slides, which is basically the outlook, how we see the outlook going forward. And as we see on the second slide, which is a bulk carrier fleet development, as we are seeing the end of 2015, 2016 and the forecast for 2017, the number of the fleet development has almost like stagnated, or I would say very small growth, which is making the impact to the revenues and to the freight revenues going forward. If we see, the cape sizes have completely stopped on the Handymax and Handysize also, the growth is very minimal. Going forward in 2018 and 19, the forecast also looks quite encouraging, that the growth which was there in the years 12, 13, 14 is not being seen here, which is impacted to the profitability and the revenue going up going forward. The dry bulk trade has grown about 1.3% in 2016, which we expect in 2017 to be almost about 2%. Against this, the bulk carrier fleet, which is already had slowed down in 2016, is expected to slow down further from 2.2% in 2016 to roughly about 1.9% in 2017. And the order book continues to be revised down until 2019. And in this case, the order book refers to the order of new ships which are being built by various shipyards of the world. And demolition also is slowed down, but still at a very high number, which we see on this slide. So the impact of all these information makes us believe that the trend is here to continue for the shipping. Hello? Sorry. The demolition also is slightly continuing on the same level, and which makes us believe that the numbers for the TCE and the BDI should be on a rising trend, though we cannot predict what kind of a number will be there, but the growth is looking positive from here for the shipping industry. On the MML Mermaid business outlook side, the Brent crude seems to be not going too much higher from these levels. So therefore we have made our position in the market by going more and more to the national oil companies like Saudi Aramco. Even in Thailand we work with PTTEP. In Indonesia also we are working with more government organizations, because we believe they would continue to do the work and not run away like Chevron had moved away from Thailand. So what happens is that because the oil prices are low, most new activities more on the exploration side may not happen, but whatever oil rigs are there and the oil production facilities which are there, they will continue to be serviced, and that's why our focus has moved in Mermaid to more and more activities on the IRM side, which is the repair and maintenance side of the business, because we do understand that because of the lower oil prices, there is a less tendency for doing new businesses, and that's the one thing which we had already announced for last quarter in December was that the MTR3 and MTR4 two rigs which we had given the order previously a couple of years ago, we were successful in negotiating the cancellation of those orders. And one of the vessels, DSCV, which is so all the three assets together is a impact to the balance sheet in a very strong way, because if we would not have been able to cancel these orders, then we would have to take loan in the balance sheet. So we have been able to do that cancellation without any financial loss to the company, except that whatever the deposits which were paid by us, they have been surrendered and no more liabilities. But that impact was already taken in 2015. So there was no impact in 2016. Don't expect any new impact in 2017 on this. In fact, it's a positive impact on the Mermaid side. And that's why during the last months of December 16, November 16, and as well as first few months, the Singapore market reacted positively to the announcement of the cancellation of the new builds. I think the total cost of these three would have been about $400 million if we had to take delivery. So it was a very successful negotiation to cancel that. The order book of Mermaid, it looks low, but it's still strong, $150 million going forward. And the consolidated cash and cash equivalents of about $105 million, which will be good for Mermaid when they look into building up their more assets going forward to add to the current fleet, which is aging, and there is a need to look at the right fleets and do the renovation of the fleet, I would say. And with this, we come to our last slide of question answers. We'll open the floor to the question answers, and we have also given our email ID here. If there are any further questions, you can contact us on that, and we'll get back to you. At this time, we are in between transition. The person who was handling our investor relations is not working with us anymore, and we are looking at new people. So we would request everybody to use the email ID or the line group which we have to ask any questions, and we will get back to you pretty quickly. We open for questions. Before that, if anybody didn't understand, you can ask me again, and my staff would try to answer that in Thai if there is a need. But I do understand. I think everybody understands English very well, and I hope my accent is not too different for understanding that.
ขอบคุณคุณจิตเทนเดอร์มากค่ะค่ะช่วงเวลานี้นะคะก็เปิดโอกาสให้นักลงทุนท่านใดถ้าเกิดว่าไม่เข้าใจส่วนไหนเนี่ยก็สามารถซักถามได้เลยนะคะหรือว่ามีคำถามก็ถามได้เลยค่ะค่ะ
What is the progress of Pizza Hut business?
Can I answer in English? It's okay. Yeah. The Pizza Hut business, I know we announced it, but it's not yet, I would say, closed. The deal is not yet closed because you understand that after signing of the agreement, there are certain conditions precedents which the other side has to complete. And majority of it has to do with the fact that all the leases which are for the various restaurants need to be transferred. So that process is going on. So the completion has not yet taken place. It should take place soon. So the impact of that would be, majority of it would start coming in, I would say, second half of this year rather than in the first half of this year. So up to now, there is no impact of that. We haven't paid any money. We haven't started consolidating it. But the only thing is that we have signed the contract and the conditions precedent are going on. Sorry.
ค่ะใช่ค่ะ second half ก็คือจะเริ่มเข้ามาเป็นส่วนหนึ่งของ TTA อะค่ะก็จะเห็นทั้งรายได้ค่าใช้จ่ายของบริษัทนั้นเข้ามาคอนโซลในกรุ๊ปอะค่ะ
We had an ambition to participate in the KFC deal, but I think the pricing was really something which looked very high, and we would not be going forward with it. So I would say that we had dreams or we had vision to look into that side of the business, but we would not be going forward with it. I mean, there are many things in this world which are very interesting and you want to get it, but the price is the most important thing. Whether you can pay for it or you want to pay for it. There are two things. Sometimes you can pay, but you don't want to pay. So it's a lot of decision making on that. So for KFC, I think the pricing at which we looked at it, it was not suiting our needs.
ค่ะมีคำถามจากทางบ้านนะคะถามว่าคาดการณ์ว่าค่าระวังเรือเฉลี่ยทั้งปี2017อยู่ที่เท่าไหร่เทียบจากปี2016อยู่ที่เท่าใดนะคะ What is the expectation of TCE rate compare between 2017 and 16
So what is 2016? I think if we look at the charts which we had shown on the, I think the first slide maybe?
The first slide.
Yeah, or the first of the shipping group.
Sorry.
Anyway, we expect the levels to average for the year because it will keep going up, going down. We should think that it should play between a number of $7,000 to $8,000 per day kind of a number. I cannot be very specific. Maybe it's a middle number. I don't know because this will be up and down. Like we saw that up to March it went up. April, May is slightly bit down, and we expect that this could stabilize at current levels. So the average for the year should be between $7,000 to $8,000 per day, which is at 7,000 we are already like positive. So it should be positive for the number for the business.
ค่ะ
คำถามจากทางบ้านคำถามที่2นะคะให้ประเมินภาพรวมของตลาดเดินเรือในปี 2017 ทั้งด้าน Demand and Supply แล้วก็ปัจจัยที่มีผลกระทบค่ะ
What is the factor to impact the market trend of the shipping business? Demand and supply.
I go back to my outlook slide. I think this one. On the outlook slide, we have explained. I mean, the supply side is the total supply of ships which come into the market and play. And within that supply side also, if you look the second slide, the fleet development, where it's Cape sizes, Panamax, Handymax, and Handysize. For TTA specifically for our shipping group, we play only on the Handymax and the Handysize sector, not the Cape size and Panamax. So whatever impact comes on for us is that although we have to look at the whole numbers, and that's why we sometimes say that for us the more impact is the BSI rather than the BDI, because BDI is like a combination of all the four ship freights. So this shows the supply side, and we expect that 2017, 18, 19 the fleet growth would be in fact slightly bit lower than 16 also, so it kind of stable about 1.9%, 1.5% total level. So if you look at it, almost like 800 million dry weight ton for all the 3 years coming, 17, 18, 19, it's looking like flat. So what we are looking is that on the supply side, it will be quite a flat thing. On the demand side, on the trade growth, we see that compared to 2016, a growth of about 1.3%, looking upward about 2%. So that itself is an indication that when the supply is flat and demand continues to be the same, we are not saying that the demand is going to be too much better than before. It's almost the same level of growth, but it's a positive growth on the demand side. So that would the fact that supply is going to be flat and no more additional ships are expected to come to the market. I mean, additionally, freight growth, fleet growth expected in the market is not expected. So therefore, we feel that the pricing should stay at a strong level. And that's why we said that between 7 to 8,000, you may see certain times it could go up to 8,200, 300 for a short period. It may come back. But what the number I said was for the average of the year.
ส่วนมีคำถามว่าแนวโน้ม BDI จะเป็นอย่างไรนะคะคุณจิเทนเดอร์ก็ได้อธิบายไปแล้วนะคะ
Yeah.
ค่ะคำถามถัดมาก็คือถามว่ารายได้ปีนี้เป็นยังไงตั้งเป้าไว้อย่างไรบ้างอะค่ะ
That's a number I can never say because the stock exchange does not allow me to predict what our numbers will be. I think we have given you good pointers to calculate how the numbers will be, and if there are any specific questions which you want to understand, we can look at it more carefully.
ค่ะคำถามถัดมาเรามีแผนการบริหารจัดการเงินสดที่อยู่ในมืออย่างไรบ้างคะ
Sorry, what is it?
The cash and short-term investment on hand.
How to?
Manage the cash and short-term investment.
Yeah. See, the cash which we have in our hand is basically kept with us for making some good business investments as and when the opportunities are there. So in our investment group, we are very, I would say, realistic in looking at businesses. Until that time we get into some new businesses, we put our cash in really short-term investments, and on that I would say we like to be very conservative most of the time. We are not going and investing in very exotic and big derivatives or anything like that. We try to be in money market funds. We try to remain basically on the fixed income side of the cash management, not going into too much equity, although we have a very small percentage of our cash fund allocated for equity, but even in that equity we go into more through the mutual fund route rather than going and investing in direct the equities. Once or twice we have done very small investments as a percentage, but we as a policy we are not looking at big numbers into that. So that's, I would say, on an overall basis our cash policy, our investment policy of our cash is more conservative with a view to growth, because we have to pay interest also to the market. So we try to see in between where we can get a good return as well as being conservative on our principal protection and not taking any undue risks. But that is not our main business. So we want to get into more businesses where we will make a business investment, and we are always looking at those investments at all times.
ค่ะมีทางบ้านให้รบกวนแปลเป็นภาษาไทยให้นะคะก็จะพูดคร่าวๆก็คือว่าแคชที่เรามีอยู่ในมือตอนนี้ค่ะก็มองหาอยู่ว่าถ้าเรามีธุรกิจหรือเงินการลงทุนใดๆที่น่าสนใจเนี่ยค่ะเราก็จะเข้าลงทุนนั้นแต่อย่างที่บอกอะค่ะเราก็ต้องลงทุนด้วยความระมัดระวังในระหว่างที่หาการลงทุนอยู่นะคะเราก็จะลงทุนใน short term investment ซึ่งเป็นการลงทุนที่พยายามลงใน market fund ที่ไม่มีความเสี่ยงหรือมีความเสี่ยงน้อยที่สุดนะคะ
อยากจะถามนิดนึงนะครับคือตอนนี้คล้ายๆกับของ OppDay business portfolio มันมีตอนนี้ก็จะเป็น10 business ถูกไหมครับก็คือมีเรือทำปุ๋ยแล้วก็จะมีถ่านหินถูกไหมครับมีความวิ่งมาก็คือเป็นธุรกิจอาหารทีนี้ถ้าในระยะเวลา3 ปีถัดไปเนี่ยครับมองว่าธุรกิจไหนจะเป็นกลุ่มทางนี้ครับหรือว่าธุรกิจไหนจะเป็น cash cow ที่ว่าจะเป็นตัวที่ปั๊มเงินเข้ามาให้กับธุรกิจของพี่เอครับ
Which the business that we have major business right now for the next plan for 3 years do you think which business that will have like the major one for us in the next 3 or 5 years?
In the next 3 years. I think we still continue to maintain our core business on the shipping and energy side. It also depends on what new businesses are coming in. So therefore, I would not like to make any prediction as to what it will be. What our stated goal is that most of our volatile businesses we want to be less invested in, and more stable businesses we would continue to be in. Like if you look at Mermaid also, the drilling side we kind of reduced because it was very volatile. Today with the oil price going down, all the drills are like completely unemployed. So we cancelled the drill orders. But that doesn't mean that we are not investing in new assets. We are focusing on that. Even on the shipping side, though we haven't bought like 10 ships at a time, but we are continuing to buy. We bought a ship last year. We bought this quarter. Hopefully in quarter 2 we would have more announcements for additional ships. So we continue to invest, and as and when the opportunities are there. But at the same time, we are investing in like stable businesses like food and beverages. But I'm not at liberty to disclose the price at which we would be investing in Pizza Hut, but it's a very small number. But it's a way for us to put more and more businesses. So the nature of our industry is more like a operator investor holding company, where we invest in businesses and we operate them, and there are very small businesses where we invest and we try to look at learning and being in the curve, like our Sinogranites business. And also we are looking at both the businesses, both sides of the businesses, on the businesses which we operate and the businesses which we are just as an investor. You want to translate?
ต้องแปลเป็นไทยไหมคะค่ะอะไรนะไปได้นะคะค่ะก็อย่างที่แจ้งนะคะคือเรายังโฟกัสที่ core business ของเราอยู่โดยเฉพาะทางด้านการขนส่งทางเรือและในแง่ของด้านพลังงานนะคะแต่คือในเราก็พยายามที่จะลดในเรื่องของการที่มีความเสี่ยงในเรื่องของ volatile ของ cycle ของ business นะคะอย่างเช่นถ้ามองธุรกิจ energy mermaid อย่างเงี้ยค่ะเราก็จะเดิมทีเราก็จะมีธุรกิจของ drilling ในแง่ขุดเจาะน้ำมันกับ subsea สำรวจใต้ทะเลใช่ไหมคะแต่ในขุดเจาะน้ำมันเนี่ยที่ด้วยปัญหา impact จากการ oil price ก็เลยทำให้เราเนี่ยตัดสินใจที่จะ cancel ที่อย่างที่เห็นที่ประกาศไปเมื่อปลายปีที่แล้วนะคะว่าเราได้มี cancel contract ของการต่อเรือใหม่ในเรื่องนี้ไปเพื่อลดความเสี่ยงในเรื่องของค่าใช้จ่ายที่จะเข้ามานะคะส่วนในธุรกิจใหม่ๆเข้ามาอย่างเช่น food and beverage เนี่ยค่ะก็เป็นธุรกิจใหม่ที่เราโฟกัสเหมือนกันว่ามันอาจจะทำให้มีกำไรที่ค่อนข้าง stable ได้ในอนาคตนะคะค่ะ we have the question
ค่ะเชิญ
I don't remember the exact number at this time, but it was impacted in 2015. I think it was about 15% deposit had been paid. So 15 SIPHA, 15% deposit. But if we would have taken the delivery of the ships, I think since the day of the order and the time of the delivery, the value of the ships had fallen almost like 40%. So there would have been a further loss of 25, so which we were able to protect by this thing. So it was a part of negotiation that by foregoing the 15% deposit, everything. And I think we had disclosed that even in Mermaid books and in TTA books for that what we call provision and the impairment based on that in 2015. So there was no impact. Yes, because at 2015 the thought process had already started that we will not be taking the delivery, and we had already started to get into the negotiation with the shipyard how to protect it. See, mostly what happens is that once you have made an order, it's very difficult to come out of it, and I would only thank my legal team and my operational team that they were able to manage the situation and come out of it without any additional liability and no legal case. I don't want to name other companies, but if you hear other shipping company, they still have a lot of arbitration going on, lot of, you don't know what will happen tomorrow. If the arbitration case goes against them, then they may have another liability, like it's kind of a contingent liability. But in case of Mermaid and in case of TTA, the matter is resolved as of 2016. So it took us about a year, or I would say 14-15 months to complete the negotiations. But on 31st December 2016, we were able to successfully conclude everything, and no more problems or no more court cases going forward. So that's it. Well, that's why it took us 15 months to of negotiations and discussions and everything like that, because it was not a easy negotiation. Like you said, that why would they allow exactly the same thing? Why would they allow? So I don't want to get into what kind of I would say technical reasons we come out with, and we try to, now rather than going and settling it in the court, we took a way that we settle it on the table. And in terms of the build of ship, they were almost built, because the delivery was supposed to be taken in 2016, I think, or beginning of 2017. When we started the negotiations, the ships were almost built 80-85%, because we started the negotiations in third or fourth quarter of 2015. So by that time, 70-80% ships were built. So you are absolutely right. It's very difficult to come out of this kind of obligation. So it's like you have to, sometimes you have to play soft, sometimes you have to play hard on some points. So it's a negotiation, and it took us 15 months. It was not like a one day of negotiation, continuous. The yards were in China. We also tried to help them look for other builders, other buyers who could be wanting to look at it at much lower cost. So everything, all the negotiation, if you look back at our announcements at those times, let's say in quarter 1, quarter 2, 3 of 2016, we used to say that all the options are on the table. We will have to probably take delivery, we will have to probably help them find a buyer, or we'll, all the options were on the table till the negotiations were completed. But at the end of it, we were successful in letting go of 15%. And I mean,
เลยค่ะมีคำถามอีกไหมคะ
if no, then we can close.
โอเคค่ะ ขอเชิญค่ะ
Actually, if you compare to last quarter and this quarter, usually the quarter 1 is much lower anyway, because of the seasonality. That is the level of activity, because in Q1 we still had certain orders in the Middle East area, and now the activity has gone down. But we expect that going forward with the opening of Iran, if that's a number I cannot give you offhand, because based on our current orders in hand, the expected is one number, but we are continuously bidding for new orders, and there are orders out there which we try to look, and like I was saying, that with the coming up of Iran, if we can get some orders in that part of the world also, it should be a good thing. But what has happened is that a lot of other companies who have no more orders, they are bidding at very low prices, and we try to maintain our quality. And in this business, quality means safety of the staff, because this is underwater diving, so you have to be very safe operation. So we maintain our quality and the safety of our team. So therefore we cannot go down below certain levels. So it's a constant struggle, that whether you take orders at a very low prices or not. So that's why it makes it very hard for me to give you a absolute forecast on what the utilization should be. But we constantly keep looking at it. But we have reduced our costs also very low, so that even if we have to take orders at the lower level, we should be able to still, but without sacrificing the safety or the quality of our service.
Okay ค่ะโอเค
Yes, please. Okay. See, PMTA in terms of quarter 1, can you show the PMTA slide?
yes
The profitability slide. In terms of the volumes, we did almost the same volume as quarter 1 last year. However, on the net profit level, if you see even the gross profit numbers were almost the same, but on the net profit level, the profitability dropped, and I explained on because of the exchange rate impact. Maybe I can have Khun Bunpen to explain you if you really want to know the technical of the exchange rate impact. Maybe she can explain in Thai, so I don't have to do the second repetition.
ค่ะคือจริงๆถ้าพูดถึง PMTA ถ้าดูที่วอลลุ่มนะคะวอลลุ่มของ PMTA เนี่ยจะประมาณเดิมถ้าเทียบกับตอน Q116 นะคะเพราะโดยปกติแล้วเนี่ยช่วง Q1 เนี่ยจะเป็นช่วง low season แล้วก็เป็นช่วงที่มี Chinese New Year ของเวียดนามเขาทำให้วอลลุ่มเนี่ยจะค่อนข้างต่ำแต่ในแง่ของ revenue เนี่ยก็จะเห็นว่าก็ค่อนข้างลดลงเหมือนกันแม้วอลลุ่มจะเท่าเดิมเป็นเพราะว่าด้วย market trend ของตลาดปุ๋ยอะค่ะอยู่ในช่วงของแบบราคามันค่อนข้างเฉลี่ยค่อนข้างลงแต่ในขณะเดียวกัน raw material ของเราก็ราคาลงเหมือนกันทำให้เรายัง maintain ตัว gross margin ได้เหมือนเดิมแต่ถ้ามองในแง่ของตัว bottom line ใน profit อะค่ะจะเห็นว่าลดลงเหลือแค่2ล้านซึ่งจริงๆแล้วเนี่ยถ้ามองในแง่ของ operating profit ของทาง operation นะคะจะ maintain อยู่ที่ประมาณเดิมแต่เนื่องจากด้วย impact ของไทยบาทที่สตรองที่ตัว VN เทียบกับ VND อะค่ะคือต้องแจ้งงี้ว่าเมื่อปลายปีที่แล้วนะคะทาง business ที่เวียดนามได้ announce ตัว dividend มาทีนี้เราก็ตั้ง accrue ไว้ใช่ไหมคะพอทำให้ปีนี้เนี่ยเกิด unrealized loss ขึ้นที่บนตัวของตัวแม่ PMTA อะค่ะซึ่งเป็นตัวหลักแล้วก็อีกตัวหนึ่งก็คือเป็นในเรื่องของการแปลงค่างบเงินจากเวียดนามมาไทยบาทที่ไทยบาทสตรองขึ้นจากจุด0016เป็นจุด0015ค่ะจะค่อนข้างเทคนิคนิดนึงอะค่ะคือจริงๆจะ impact ในช่วง Q1 เป็นหลักนะคะเพราะว่ามี Chinese New Year อย่างที่เวียดนามเขาจะปิดประมาณ2อาทิตย์ค่ะ
But the foreign exchange is not cycle. Foreign exchange is
ค่ะถ้าพูดถึงในแง่ของ operation นะคะแต่ถ้าเรื่อง exchange rate เนี่ยมันเป็นแค่ช่วงเนี้ยค่ะที่ค่าเงินบาทแข็งค่าขึ้นไม่ว่าจะ against กับ VND หรือว่า US ดอลลาร์ค่ะตัว business ของบาร์คงโคเป็นไซเคิลใหม่ก็จะมีช่วงเวลาที่เขาช่วงประมาณQ2 ปลาย Q2 ค่ะจะเป็นช่วงที่ทางเกษตรกรเริ่มเขาเรียกอะไรเริ่มปลูกข้าวช่วงนั้นก็คือถามว่าเป็นไซเคิลมันก็เป็นแต่ว่าเราก็ลดความเสี่ยงของในเรื่องของไซเคิลเนี่ยในแง่ของเราก็มีส่งออกมันก็จะเป็นช่วงที่ฤดูคาบกันนะคะใช่ค่ะ
no impact on that
ค่ะไม่มีผลกระทบนะคะ
we are in the business of NPK, which is basically blending of 3 different chemicals or fertilizers. So in that situation, what happens is that there is a cost price. If the market really goes up, we are able to go up also because that will be the market price. Of course, there will be a lag of maybe 1 or 2 or 3 months depending upon what item is going and what is the lead time for that item. Let's say if it is potassium and if the movement of that potassium is because we buy it from like North America, Canada and that kind of country. So there we may have booked our orders in advance. So there will be a time lag which is bigger, but for urea and other items which we source either locally or from nearby countries, the time lag is smaller. So within that time lag, the price is kind of maintained. So cycle does not change, is not changing too much because the what we call the farmer is still using the fertilizers NPK and urea, what we call this thing, and they are continuing to use, and there is not much additional factories which have come up during this period. So there is no impact to the cycle, but Q1 is the seasonality impact will be there. It is No, it is not like a cost plus basis, but what happens is that it follows the trend. Because if the cost, let's say, is cheaper for me, then the cost is also cheaper for my competitors. So if they, because of their cost cheaper, if they come down on the price, because it's a free market. See, if I was in a monopoly situation, even if the cost price would have fallen, I can still maintain my sale price. But since it is not a monopoly, it is more like a free economy. So we expect that sooner or later other suppliers may drop the price and we'll follow. But it's not a cost plus kind of a situation. It's just that follow the trend.
โอเคค่ะเดี๋ยวเราก็เวลาจะหมดแล้วเดี๋ยวเราขอจบพาร์ท Q&A เพียงเท่านี้นะคะก็ขอบคุณนักลงทุนทุกท่านนะคะแล้วก็พบกันใหม่กับควอเตอร์หน้าค่ะวันนี้ขอบคุณและสวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you everyone.